You ever wake up and realize the mud on your boots is the only thing keeping you honest? Yeah, that's how this all started for me. A quiet morning, dew still fresh, just me and the lamb my granddad broke his back for, thinking maybe today would be the day things calmed down. But here's the punchline. The land remembers. Every scar, every tire track that didn't belong, every time somebody figured they could just take what wasn't theirs, this place held on to it like a grudge. Now, I'm tucked out here in northern Iowa, 76 acres of soybeans and stubbornness, the house sitting up on the ridge, watching over everything like an old, weathered glove. It's been in my family so long, I swear you can hear the laughter and cussing baked right into the porch boards. We're just outside city limits, but 10 years back, some hotshot developer carved out a little HOA neighborhood along the west edge, right on the old utility easement. You know the type? Beige houses, plastic fences, neighbors who wouldn't know a calloused hand if it reached out and slapped them. We mostly left each other alone, at least until Karen Ritson, HOA president and walking definition of entitlement, decided the tractor trail through my lower field made for a perfect shortcut to the highway. She'd come barreling across in her white Lexus SUV, like she was queen of all she surveyed. Didn't matter that I'd posted private property signs at both ends. Didn't matter that every time she rolled through, she was crushing whatever green shoots I'd worked so hard to plant. I tried being polite, walked over, asked her to stop. She just laughed in my face, sunglasses perched like she was starring in her own reality show. "This road's been here longer than your crops," she said, waving her hand like she was granting me some kind of mercy. "Historic use," she claimed. I asked for paperwork. She scoffed, sped off, tires spraying dirt. That was March. By May, the HOA was calling it Maple Loop Access, putting it in newsletters, talking about getting it paved. They started acting like my tractor path was their God-given right. Thing is, that trail was never a public road. It was just a service path for my dad's irrigation tanks. Nobody but us ever used it, and no easement was ever granted. I tried blocking off with a chain gate. Next morning, it was gone, cut clean through, and dumped in the ditch by the soy elevator. I didn't go to war. Not yet, but I started taking notes. Every tire track, every snapped stalk, every insult to my family's sweat got a timestamp and a photo. Built myself a spreadsheet. Even figured out crop loss based on planting density and yield projections. And there she was week after week, Karen and her smug white SUV, dent on the fender, chrome frame reading live, laugh, love, except the only thing she was loving was running roughshod over what wasn't hers. By June, 2 more board members were in on it. One even put up a community access route sign. I tore it out, buried it in the compost. That's when the letters started showing up, anonymous and typed, slid under my door, calling me selfish, saying I was hoarding land, standing in the way of neighborly progress. Funny, I don't remember signing up for their neighborhood. The county map had my name clear as day. No shared roads, no easements, just 76 stubborn acres. But Karen, she was working a different angle. Say community access, enough times, people start believing it's always been that way. So, I drove into town, pulled records at the clerk's office, and there it was. A revised plat, just 2 months old, filed by the HOA's lawyer. Claimed a 12-foot wide strip across my land was a legacy path, using blurry aerial photos from the 80s. You could see my dad's tractor, but no property lines, no deed giving up an inch. My hand shook, not from fear, from that slow burn fury you get when someone tries to rewrite your family's history. I took it to my friend, a retired surveyor. He snorted, found 2 errors right off. GPS coordinates off by 30 feet. Notary signature belonged to a man who died in 2019. Forged, sloppy, arrogant. But I knew better than strike back fast. I needed them to keep digging their own hole. So I bought 4 trail cameras, hid them in the ryegrass. 1080p, night vision, time-stamped and synced to my phone. Every time a car crossed, I got a ping. Karen, Brad, the vice president, even the treasurer's battered Prius. Dozens of crossings, every violation logged and backed up to the cloud. And as my soybeans grew, so did my patience. Because sooner or later, somebody was going to screw up big. Sure enough, one morning I found deep gouges in the mud, plants flattened in an arc, a joyride gone wrong. The sun hadn't dried the ground yet, so I could read every print. That's something you don't learn in a HOA meeting. Soil talks if you listen. Later, I caught Karen on the camera, 6:43 a.m., Lexus fishtailing, mud flying, another entry from my erosion events tab. Still, I didn't call the sheriff. No use going to knife fight with a butter knife. Instead, I visited Maggie Hiller, the county extension agent, sharp as a tack, knows every inch of land for 20 miles. Showed her my photos, the fake plat. She barely said a word, just made copies and muttered. Trail never was public. Maps from 74 show it stopped short. Then she looked up. You're not letting this go, are you? Not this time. Because it was more than lost crops now. It was about principle and not letting a bunch of HOA board members pave their convenience over my family sacrifice. So I waited. Let them hang themselves, piling evidence. The board, meanwhile, denied everything. Karen stood up at a county meeting in her pink blazer, insisted the trail was always part of their mobility plan. Others nodded, a few clapped. But the county clerk frowned. He knew something was off. After the meeting, he promised to dig into old plats. Next week, the sign vanished, but Karen kept driving, sometimes fast enough to spray gravel. That's when I moved my tractor onto the trail. Not blocking, just mowing, using my own land. Karen screeched up, rolled down her window, shouting, "You can't block a shared road." I just told her, "Show me the deed." She spun her wheels and left. Another letter came, this time on HOA letterhead, accusing me of obstruction, threatening zoning reports. I saved it. Item 12 on my log. Next morning, new tire tracks and a busted fence post on the eastern edge. Somebody was getting desperate. I added 2 more trail cams, wider angle. Called an old USDA buddy, Paul. He owed me from the days we busted land grant abusers. He brought a soil kit, and we spent 2 days mapping compaction, infiltration rates, damage. He clapped me on the back. This ain't just trespass, it's agricultural interference. And if that plat's forged, you got yourself a pattern. That night, steady rain fell, mud remembering every sin. By sunrise, Karen tried her shortcut again. Only this time, her Lexus didn't make it out. I watched from the porch, coffee in hand, as she spun her tires, then stomped out in high heels, cursing in her phone while the mud swallowed her car. Tow truck came, couldn't get her out without chewing up more field. The driver asked if he should bill me or her. Her car, my land, I said. You figured out. Trail cams caught it all. I made 3 calls to the county, my old attorney, and a retired notary whose name had been forged on the HOA's plat. Nope, I haven't notarized anything since 2019, he said. That's a goddamn forgery. He sent me a sworn statement, properly notarized this time. Now I had the story, fake plat, trespass, crop damage, vandalized gate, legal threats, and the kicker, HOA money spent on a trail they didn't own. But it gets better. Turns out the HOA had voted to pay a contractor $11,200 for Maple Loop Trail improvements. The contractor? Karen's cousin, running a shell company out of a P.O. box. Self-dealing, fraud, everything documented. I bundled it up. Photos, drone shots, expert reports, bank records. Gave copies to my lawyer, the county, and 10 carefully chosen neighbors. Quiet ones, the kind who listen before they speak. Within days, the neighborhood was buzzing. Calls for recall votes, budget freezes, even talk of countywide audits. Jillian Cord, a local reporter, ran with it. Farmer catches HOA board in fraud, triggers investigation. Front page. Karen's empire was crumbling before my eyes. County issued a cease and desist. HOA panicked, tried to flip the script, sent me a cease and desist for harassment, demanded I take down cameras. I laughed and sent it to my lawyer. Meanwhile, I dug up the original deed from my barn, faded ink, but clear lines. No shared anything. Not now, not ever. I sent certified letters to the HOA, laid it all out. Apologize, stop, or see you in court. No reply. They were done talking. So, off to court we went. Judge Grover didn't waste time. My attorney laid out every fact, camera footage, soil studies, audit trails, the forge plat, even a license plate frame from Karen's Lexus I'd found buried in my field. The HOA lawyer tried the old historic use song and dance, but Beth shut that down. No deed, no easement, no right. We had a taped conversation with a longtime resident admitting the board thought I'd never fight back. The judge granted injunctive relief on the spot, banned them from my land, referred the whole mess for criminal investigation. And the fallout? Oh, it was sweet. The HOA board resigned. Karen's cousin's shell company got subpoenaed. The neighborhood finally woke up. Turns out, when you shine enough light on a lie, it doesn't matter how many times they print it in the newsletter. County passed new rules. Every HOA had to file annual audits, publicize expenditures, and get written, notarized consent for any land use. They called it the Garner provision. I didn't ask for it. Someone just started using my name in the session, and it stuck. The story made the rounds, statewide even. People started calling, emailing, telling me their own tales of slow theft and silent battles with HOAs who thought a fancy title gave them a deed to anything. Other counties launched investigations, and soon, the whole system started to change. Jillian's last article said it best, from soil to statute, how one farmer changed Iowa HOA law. But here's the part that sticks with me. After all the courtrooms, after all the headlines, after the board was gone and the land started healing, people started showing up. Not to gawk, but to ask questions, to learn, to make pie, share coffee, run their kids through fields finally safe again. Tammy Lou, the new interim president, sat at my kitchen table for 2 hours, talking about bylaws and boundaries and how to keep this from happening again. Me, the bitter farmer, suddenly sitting on the county advisory board. Funny how quick they hand you a seat at the table once you refuse to get run over. But I didn't do it for power. I just wanted my rows back, my mornings quiet, my boots muddy for the right reasons. Still, I kept going, because if standing up meant someone quieter than me never had to, then maybe this whole mess was worth it. So, if you're out there and your HOA starts talking like your fence line is just a suggestion, if they start rewriting maps, threatening, bullying, or burying you in paperwork, don't just grit your teeth and hope it'll blow over. Gather your receipts, gather your neighbors, gather your voice. Because sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one the mud remembers. And you want to know what real victory feels like? It's not the check from a lawsuit or the new rules or even the front page story. It's a field with no ruts, kids playing where tire tracks used to run, neighbors nodding as they pass, remembering that land is story, and some stories you just don't get to pave over. Now, tell me, where would you draw the line? Is justice about fences, or is it about the roots underneath? Drop a comment below. Share your story. Because as long as the ground remembers, the fight for what's right never really ends.